Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Mahenna, the Associate Professor of Marine Engineering. Dr. Mahenna, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, hello, sir.
Dr. Mahenna, first of all, now this has been a successful operation, a successful rescue operation that had the whole world focusing on the Suez Canal, having it under the microscope. Now, first off, how would you describe the crisis management behavior of the Suez Canal Authority and the Egyptian government in dealing successfully with such a huge crisis?
First of all, I would like to thank you. I saw that the whole world and all of us seeing what's happening from the entire news that took place during the last week about the grounding of huge mega Panamanian container ship that's related to Evergreen Company. I saw that the Egyptian state dealing with the crisis cleanly, and nothing was taken into consideration except the completion of the work about the Suez Canal. We saw that they made all efforts were concrete, and the dredging worked through the whole week. I think they start stuffing, maneuvering to float the mega ship by 10 huge tugs operating for different directions to reflect the container ship. All of the expertise of marine and navigation, so that the Suez Canal Authority make a huge effort about this thing, and the state of the Egyptian state dealing with this state very professional.
Mm-hmm. Well, sir, a lot of observers, analysts, and renowned media outlets have described this as probably the biggest and most successful rescue operation in maritime history. Now, we understand that there were foreign companies and foreign experts that came to the site in the Suez Canal where the ship was stranded and blocking the artery of the canal. Now, how did it happen that the Egyptians were able to refloat that ship in such a record time, even though all the experts expected that it could take much more time, and the scenario of actually offloading the whole container ship was still on the table?
Yes, but the offloading, this is the third scenario that it should be taken. But the scenario of loading the container is very, very critical, that we need a lot of devices, a lot of cranes. But this is, I think, that the Suez Canal Authority, they will think this is the last option, but they make crisis management about this issue very professional. Mm-hmm. I know, all of us know that they take their time about this issue, because they're dealing with, as I saw, with a very huge vessel, 400 meter long, 59 meter dense. All of us know that the ship dead weight is something like 220 tons, so it's very, very huge container.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Mahenna, the whole world has been really focusing on this incident, and what sort of message do you feel the Egyptian government and the Suez Canal Authority has conveyed to the international world by actually solving this crisis with Egyptian hands? What sort of message do you feel it is, especially that now everybody really knows the importance of the Suez Canal? The whole world trade was halted. About 13 to 15% of world trade was affected by such a crisis.
And first of all, we saw that the Suez Canal Authority has dealing professional, as I said, with this crisis based in the directive of the political leadership under His Excellency President Abdel Fattah Sisi. The Egyptian state was on new dates now to deal with the world with the capabilities and skills of the Egyptian official in Suez Canal Authority. And this is actually the Suez Canal is considered, as all of us know, that the shortest route linking the east and west because it's unique geographical location. It's an important global navigation. So during the past few days, the whole world has followed this crisis of ever given ship in Suez Canal. Finally, I think the world should thank the Egyptian state, especially the Suez Canal Authority, for their effort to resuming navigation through the important waterway.
Well, investigations are underway to find out the root and the causes of such an incident that took place almost a week ago. Now, head of the Suez Canal Authority, Osama Rabia, said that the whole situation costs $15 million a day. Now, with your experience, what would you say, even if it's just a guessing game, what would you say are the main reasons for such an incident to take place, and who would be responsible for paying the compensation to the Suez Canal Authority and the other vessels that have been delayed due to the blockade as well?
Thank you, all of us. So the conference made by the Suez Canal Authority, the company and the insurance companies will responsible for the whole things about this issue, because this issue, the whole responsible is the captain of the ship. As the Suez Canal Authority just guiding the captain of the ship, but the whole responsibility lies on the captain of the ship. So the captain is as well responsible from the company.
Mr. Mahanna, Dr. Mahanna, now the ship has successfully refloated again, and traffic is resuming in the Suez Canal Authority. It's going to take about 3 days now to get everything back to its previous normality. What sort of lessons do we learn? What sort of things we need to prepare for in the future? What should we learn from such an incident, and how should we prepare for any similar incident that could happen or take place in the future?
I think, in my opinion, after this crisis, the Suez Canal Authority will develop. We already have a very professional staff, but we will develop the capabilities during the next period as the authority will make sure to contracting with the new start with a high intention for such mega ships.
Dr. Ahmed Mahanna, the Associate Professor of Marine Engineering, thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, also under the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a new initiative of Nawart Baladak, or Welcome Home, was launched, aiming to help the Egyptians working abroad who are returning back to Egypt, reincorporating them within the economic system, within the Egyptian workforce. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Minister of Planning and Economic Development Hala Said and Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expats Affairs Nabila Makram officially launched a website for the initiative Welcome Home, or Nawart Baladak. The website of the initiative aims at contributing to providing training programs in different domains to qualify returning workers to hone their skills to cope with the needs of the Egyptian market. The initiative comes in the context of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's directives on the necessity of giving a hand to Egyptian expats who lost their jobs due to the COVID-19 crisis and integrating them into the national economy in various governorates. Minister Makram explained the website represents the third phase of the Nawart Baladak initiative. The first one consisted of the registration of data and documents of Egyptian workers laid off from work in Gulf countries. In the second phase, the ministry immediately cooperated with different ministries and institutions to offer training and job opportunities. The ministries that have been involved are those of planning, trade and local development. Minister Makram pointed out the website aims to create an accurate database that includes key information on returnees from abroad, their professions, skills and the methods of employment they choose, whether financing projects they intend to launch, getting training for career transfers or job opportunities, registering through the website. The minister added this directly contributes to providing training programs that suit the skill and competence of each of them, as well as enhance their qualifications to help create suitable job opportunities for them in cooperation with various authorities. For her part, Minister Said said the initiative aims to strengthen cooperation between government agencies, implement economic plans by integrating Egyptian abroad, benefiting from their skills to achieve a comprehensive development, as well as support the political vision of investing in human resources.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're joined here tonight in the studio by Mr. Raed Allam, the economic expert. Mr. Allam, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, sir, the President and the government has initiated this initiative, Nawarta Baladak, Welcome Back Home, to absorb the Egyptian employees who are working or were working abroad, coming back to the country. Most of them were affected by the coronavirus pandemic because most of the companies and the workforce have let go a lot of the employees. Now, how important is such an initiative, and is the number of Egyptian workers working and living abroad returning back home that big that an initiative needs to be established to absorb them and reincorporate them within the Egyptian workforce again?
Okay. First of all, definitely not all the Egyptian working abroad will come back.
Yes.
Okay. So not to make it as a disaster or something very hard to deal with. Nawarta Baladak is a good start. Okay. To manage this crisis. Okay. Or to manage this situation among many elements. Okay. To start with, we have some technical labor and some technical people, and we have to see the major plan or strategic plan, okay, for whole professionals, okay, because some of them are working for the agriculture, something for some industries or specific industries, and something maybe doctors, engineers, or something like this. So it is a good start, and it is a start. Lately it's July 2020, okay, so let us say, okay, we hope that the planning for it is properly right, okay. Definitely we need to select or to make some criteria for these people return to Egypt, okay, to classify them between skilled, non-skilled, semi-skilled. I'm talking about the labor or the employee themselves, and definitely we can use them, okay, in many industries, that especially that intensive labor industries, okay. Definitely the new project for the 1 million Faddan will absorb some of those people. Okay, and because of the others, like engineers or doctors or something like this, there's big opportunities to work with the new investment coming soon.
Well, this initiative is really undergone by the Ministries of Immigration and Planning as well. Now, what would the Ministry of Immigration be responsible for, and what would the Ministry of Planning be responsible for? Who sets to sort of distribute or divide them into, as you've mentioned, a certain set of skills, qualifications, industries, sectors? Who's responsible to do this whole process?
Definitely for the database, definitely it is the immigration, Ministry of Immigration. It is because they know what is coming from outside. But for selections and some training or some restructuring for the skills itself, or allocating of resources, okay, definitely it is the Ministry of Planning.
And how will this work? Now, the employees coming back from abroad, coming back to Egypt, will they incorporate them within existing projects that are taking place right now? Are they going to train some of them, develop their skills, some of them? Are they going to finance their own personal projects if they have a certain vision, a certain business, a certain project that they have in mind? Will the Ministry of Immigration and Planning be able to finance these employees to start up their own projects?
Okay. To start with, we have to classify how to deal with such a situation, okay? If we are talking about reallocation of resources, so we are talking about some training, some upgrading for the skills, okay? If we are talking about how for small or youth entrepreneur, okay, so we are talking about how to finance them, okay? Definitely, Ministry of Planning, they don't have the arm of financing. Definitely, they have to produce something like the social fund or small SMEs from banks, okay? But definitely, if there is some opportunity for SMEs, definitely the finance will come from the banks with some incentives, lower interest rate, longer payment schedules, okay? Some feasibility studies with discount or for free or something like this. This is a good incentive because if we are talking about finance of 2 or 3 millions or something like this for the youth, it is very difficult to go to the bank with a comprehensive or a special feasibility study.
Yes. Well, where does it seem like the biggest number of employees working abroad, Egyptians working abroad, coming back from? Because a lot of people are mentioning the Gulf countries, a lot of Egyptians coming back from the Gulf states. But what about Europe? What about the Americas? Are there big numbers as well of Egyptians coming back from these other continents?
I don't think, I don't have the real figures, but actually I don't think it's that much, because there is some support for the residents over there, okay, for such situations. But definitely for the laborers especially, I believe some of them will come back, for sure.
You've mentioned the agricultural sector, which would be in need of a lot of people to join this sector. What other sectors do you feel that it could benefit from the employees and the Egyptians working abroad? They could make use of the numbers, the expertise, the background.
Any intensive labor industries like services, okay, constructions, agriculture, some intensive labor industries, okay. There is a lot of intensive labor industries. We have for textiles, or for instance, for ready-made garments. All of this is intensive labor industries.
Yes.
And definitely for agriculture. And if we are talking about the Arab countries especially, most of the people coming over there are from the agricultural sector, basically.
Well, Mr. Allam, now this website works on the Egyptian employees working abroad. They register, they state all their area of expertise, the history, the skill set, everything. It's like basically a CV. But what about the other end of the equation? Do schools, for instance, or hospitals, or factories, or different industries, can they get access to the database that will be on this website, so that if they're looking for a teacher, for instance, they can actually look up, see if there were teachers coming back from abroad that they can actually use, or doctors, or people working in factories, or people working in the information and communication technology. Is there some sort, does this website work as a link between both ends?
Okay. We have to focus in such an issue. For the website, definitely some level of educated people, they can use, okay? But for some non-skilled labor, okay, definitely it will not be used for them, or be useful for them. So definitely we should think of some other tool, okay, to register those people, because those people cannot sell themselves. They cannot produce, as you mentioned, their CVs or something like this. Actually, if this data is with a good filters, okay, you can select what kind of skills you want, and you can send it to the Ministry of Planning, and Ministry of Planning definitely knows how to distribute this for many industries. If we are talking about something like constructions, okay, if you just open any newspaper or any website, you said, okay, there's a lot of opportunity asking for people for construction in different, by the way, construction, it means many industries, not only one industry,
Yes.
okay? So definitely there is an opportunity for them. The idea is how to link each ministry with this website, and how it is available, and how the private sector and the public sector can be used for this tool, okay? I believe this is better opportunity for the Ministry of Planning to do it, okay? And to make a big survey or something like an ad in the media, okay? We have certain qualifications, and you can just go to the site or something like this.
Well, the Decent Life initiative, the initiative that was launched by the presidency, it has many sort of aspects, many sort of files and branches. Now, one of them is actually the development of rural areas, the development of thousands of villages all across the country. I mean, we're talking about transportation, we're talking about sanitation, the medical sector, education, everything really.
Yeah.
So does such an initiative, welcome back home, does it constitute a great sort of mine of Egyptian employees and a great source of Egyptian labor that can be distributed throughout the whole country in developing all these villages, really creating a new definition and a new imagination of what an Egyptian village should be like?
Yeah. Definitely, it is very important to do it like this, but we have to have some educational or something, whatever learning curve, okay? Because if you are talking about, I'm going to make new style of villages, okay? It is not a matter of new style of villages or modern villages. It's a matter of how to deal with these villages, okay? We talk about many projects that has been established and delivered to the people, and there is some mistakes happens, okay? So we have to put the vision for the positive side and the negative side, and how to solve the negative side. It's very important, okay? Now we are talking about population about 102 million, okay? And among years went through many problems. So there's some changes happen, okay? So we have to fix these changes, because if I'm going to say, okay, he is working for a neighbor an Arab country or something like this for whatever. But here you will take maybe 50% of it or 25% of it, okay? The first question, he will say, okay, what I'm going to do with this? So this is what I'm talking about, learning curve, okay? You were out of your country, far away of your family, far away of whatever incidents happened in your country, so it is some compensation for you, okay, that you came back and you stay with your family. I mean, definitely the social people, professionals can produce some a good learning curve, educational learning curve for the people, because if they said, okay, I'm just, for instance, I'm taking 1,000 Egyptian pound abroad, now I'm going to take 500. What I'm going to do with them? So this is one of the major problems, we have to focus on it.
Yes. Mr. Allam, whenever you come on the show and we discuss different issues, and even today, you always mention the development of skills, the training programs, the modernization of certain skills, and all of these things. Now, this is happening in every sector. Even when we're talking about the new administrative capital, we're talking about the training for digitalization age and everything. So how much are we doing within the training and enhancing and development of the Egyptian employee, be it a local Egyptian employee or an employee who was living and working abroad and now coming back to Egypt? How much are we doing in terms of training them?
Okay. We are talking about professional training or educational training. This is a big difference. Professional training, it means that I'm going to have some master diploma or something like this in a certain science. Okay, I would like to be more advantaged fee. Okay, but if I'm talking about the major population, we talk about the labor. Okay, the labor needs a plan. Okay, so let us take the people graduated from commercial secondary school or industrial. Some of them cannot read. Some of them cannot read. Okay, so I'm going to ask him to go to work for a factory or a farm or something or whatever, a company as an accountant or whatever. He cannot read. So definitely we have to focus on the way of education. Second, how to skill them for the market. Okay, if we talk about, okay, let us go for a new venture or new company, okay, and it is intensive labor, and I would like to have, say, for instance, 200 labor. Hardly to find them among 1,000. Regular one. I'm not talking about very skilled or something. Very hard.
Yes.
Okay, this is one of the major issues I have to face on it.
Yes. Mr. Allam, now, being an economic expert, I need to ask you about how this will affect the Egyptian economy. Now, all the Egyptian labor working abroad, they're coming back. Do we have enough job opportunities to absorb them all and still have more job opportunities? Do we have less job opportunities, so it will create some sort of a competition, a healthy competition between employees? How will this affect the economic state of the Egyptian citizen? Will the inflation rate rise? Will it go down? Will the services being provided now that they're, for instance, provided to 10 people, now they're going to be divided to 15 people, for instance. How will this affect the whole situation, this initiative? How will it affect the Egyptian economy? Because it also means more labor, more productivity, more income. It will generate a stronger economy.
You ask the questions and you answer it. If I have a good opportunity and I have the tools for it, okay, the factory or the land or the agriculture or whatever business you mean it, so it means some products will come up. Some products will be sold. Some cash will be turned on a product and turned to be cash again. Okay, so it is automatically will affect the growth of our economy. But again, what is the question? We have an opportunity. Yes, we have a big opportunities in many fields. But how to do the real penetration, okay, and the very successful or near to be successful penetration for this opportunities. This is the equation we have to look on it.
Yes. Well, Egypt has been really working towards the final goal of Egypt 2030 to achieve sustainable development. And whenever we talk about anything, any sector, we talk about tourism, we talk about entertainment, we talk about industries, agriculture, we always talk about how will this help us achieve sustainable development. Now, such an initiative with an increase in the workforce, in the labor, in the employees, the expertise in different categories and different fields, how will this help us achieve sustainable development by 2030?
Definitely will help. Why? Okay. Now we are working in many sectors, in different angles, okay, to develop many things, okay. If I'm going to develop all of this, it means, okay, there is another opportunities or some opportunities, okay, to more effective work, okay, more income, okay, more stable income, which is very important. It is not daily income, okay. It means, okay, that definitely we are in the right track to achieve, I cannot say the real goal, okay, but definitely a big percentage of it. If what we happened the last year, many years ago, and of coming years, as I'm expecting that we made the proper tools for investments. We made new farms or farming system. We developed Sinai. We developed Suez Canal, and by the way, we have an ego, and very congratulations for what happened.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm proud of it, by the way. Okay, and meanwhile, the infrastructures, roads, water, supply, sewage, whatever, okay, airports, seaports, a lot of things has been developed and ready, okay, to absorb whatever labor we can use, okay. It is a matter of commitment, it's a matter of planning. This is what I'm saying about Ministry of Planning, okay. Okay. What happened in China? The whole family working in the same industry, in the same house. And if they produce the product according to the specs asked for, they gain money. If they don't, they lose money. Okay? Actually, we can do here this also. We don't have to make big factory taking thousands of people, okay, or something like this, okay? You can say, okay, for this area or for this town, okay, we are going to produce T-shirts. And the international markets needs a certain model with certain specs and so on, okay? Take this and make it by yourself. This is what happened actually in China.
Yes.
Okay, China, the weather is not applicable for producing strawberry. They are exporting strawberry to Europe. Actually, the main countries exporting strawberry to Europe is Egypt and Poland. Many years, 5 years ago or something, China penetrated the market. So we are competing three now.
Yes. Well, Mr. Allam, one final question now.
Please.
Such an initiative, Nawarta Baladak, Welcome Home, it was really launched by the Ministries of Planning and Immigration for the Egyptians who can't find work or lost their jobs due to the pandemic or for whatever other reason, and they wish to return back home and start working here. But what about the Egyptians who are working abroad? I mean, they didn't lose their jobs, but as you can see, as the whole world can see, the international economy, the global economy has taken a nosedive since the pandemic started late December 2019. Now, everybody has a risk of losing their job. Everybody took major pay cuts. And on the other hand, Egypt has recorded in 2020 the biggest economic growth of GDP in the Middle East and Africa. And everything's looking good, better, promising than other economies of the developed economies in different continents. Now, does this seem like a very attractive option for Egyptians living and working abroad to actually come back home, having all sorts of development, as you've mentioned, all sectors, energy, education, health, construction, the industries, agriculture, the information communication technology? Is this an attractive option for Egyptians already working abroad?
Two factors we have to talk about. Okay. The opportunity cost and the loyalty. Okay. If I'm loyal to my country and just went over there or worldwide, okay, and just for looking for a job or something, so and now there's a good opportunity in Egypt, I will come back. Okay. And the opportunity cost, it means if I'm going to gain, say, 20%, 50%, whatever, 15%, sorry, okay, on my business abroad, okay, and now I can guarantee 20% or 25%, definitely will come. Everything is not a one-way.
Yes.
A one-way thinking, okay? There is, every time there is in and out, okay? So if we are talking about the loyalty, it's an issue. If we are talking about opportunity cost, it's a different issue.
Yes.
Yes, we have an opportunities, okay? But if we talk about small investors, okay, it's better for them. For the bigger investment, no. From Europe, because there's some risk that he will lose over there and he doesn't know what is going on here, okay? Because now, the crisis of Suez Canal, it makes us very, very famous.
Yes.
Okay? Make some reputation for us, definitely, with nothing. We didn't produce anything about it. Okay?
Yes.
So, we are talking about, if we're talking about loyalty, it's something, and if you're talking about opportunity cost, it's different.
Yes.
Thing. Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Nawarta Baladek Welcome Home initiative that was launched by the Ministry of Immigration and Planning through the online website is definitely a step forward, welcoming Egyptians working abroad back to the country, incorporating them, developing their skills and education to play a bigger part within the Egyptian economy, as Mr. Allam has mentioned. He also mentioned how much of a proud moment it is for all the Egyptians due to the refloating and solving the crisis in the Suez Canal that took place for over a week. Definitely a moment of pride that everybody should be feeling and enjoying. Might have been a blessing in disguise. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Mr. Raed Allam, the economic expert. Mr. Allam, always a pleasure having you with us. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Night International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.